Okay, I've almost completed my homeschooling journey. I'm in my last year with 4 kids, and I've homeschooled the complete way through. So today we're going to talk about a question I saw posted recently, and is homeschooling worth it? Let's have an honest and frank conversation with my mere opinion. I'm Jacqueline. This is homeschoolhangout.xyz, and I make videos to help you homeschool with clarity and confidence and peace. If you like these kinds of videos, do me a favor, thumbs up, like, subscribe, all this stuff. Grab something to drink. I am drinking, what am I drinking? I'm drinking blood orange iced tea made from tea bags at Trader Joe's. And let's get into it. First off, this is part of a collaboration, and it is being hosted by, I'm looking at my computer screen, Daisy at Journey in the Home. And after you're done with this, do me a favor, go down and there will be a playlist of everyone who's participating in this collaboration. So go watch them after we're done here. Okay, so is homeschool worth it? Yes, yes, 100 million times yes. But what do I mean by that? Here's how homeschool is not worth it. If you figure that you're going to follow some magical homeschooling formula and that is magically going to make your kids anything and everything you happen to personally want for them, then no, homeschooling's not worth it. And what do I mean by that? The perfect kid, the kid who does everything right, the kid who gets this degree or this career or has this many children, who always listens and who will stay close to you and give you grandbabies to play with. There are no guarantees. Homeschooling is not a magic formula because you're dealing with people. This is not a program. This is people. And I say that, I've got a grandkid. He's adorable. He lives many states away. You know, my kids don't all do what I thought they'd do. I've got to be honest, this is going to sound horrible. I'm not that invested in it, only because I knew it wasn't my choice. So you're like, okay, now you've pooped on all my dreams, woman. How do you mean homeschooling's worth it? Oh my gosh, it's worth it in so many ways. One, I know the education they received. I know that they've been prepared to run their life, that they've been prepared to budget, that they've been prepared to get a job, that they've been prepared to take care of themselves as adults. Are there things that I didn't teach them that maybe I should have taught them about living their lives as adults? I'm sure. And I'm sure as the years go by, it will become more and more evident. But I can honestly say, I know I gave them a well-rounded picture of what it means to live an adult, positive life in a way that I know many, not all, but many public schoolers say that they don't know. Oh, I didn't realize my kid didn't know how to budget. Oh, I never had time to teach him how to cook. Now, I say this. I got out of public school. I could budget. I could cook. I could run a life. Frankly, I'd taken care of 4 children for many, many hours during the day while I was still in high school. So I could run a household. So I'm not saying that all kids that come out of public school can't. But I've gotten to see it with my own eyeballs. And I've gotten to invest that into them. Now, that's not the only way. We really, and not every homeschool family is like this, but for us, we jokingly say we raised our children to be the people we want to hang out with. It doesn't always work that way, and I'll be honest, I have one kid who is off on his own and isn't really talking to us very much, and that's okay. He's off living his own life, making his own decisions. But for the most part, my children have had to learn how to get along with each other, get along with us. And I won't lie, it helps. We joke, when my kids were younger, they watched all the Dick Van Dyke Show, all Andy Griffith, things like that. Because my husband liked those shows and he wanted kids who would get those references. Yes, it's totally selfish. I admit it. It's totally selfish. But it is a really fun aspect. Your kids already have certain components of you, certain components you're never going to know where they came from, but certain components that came from you. And it is fun to see them unfurl and live your life together. And I've gotten that time to build those relationships with my children, and for my children to build those relationships with each other. And my husband and I both used to say, someday we'll die. These people that we gave birth to, this is it. This is your support system God gave you. Now, don't get me wrong. My siblings and I are not close, and God has given me a wonderful church. God has given my children church involvement and Bible study involvement. So I'm not saying if you don't have it, but if you can have it, even better. I have plenty of brothers and sisters who are honorary brothers and sisters in Christ who I'm very close with. So I'm not saying that this is your only option. You should homeschool for that reason. But it is something we got to invest a little bit more time in. We very much did run the rule of if you can't get along with your siblings, you don't get to play with your friends when they were young. I already knew that. That's not a secret. Looking at the education my children have gotten, their actual academic education, it isn't the most impressive. It isn't the Harvard and their prodigies and they're all these things, but it is more complete and more robust than many educations I've seen of other teenagers, without as much pain as some of them. What do I mean by that? There's a charter school here in town that I respect highly, that I happen to have a friend from high school who teaches there. I know children who've gone through them and the whole bit. And they're very AP and college class focused. You do both. You take college classes and AP. They're right on Fresno State's campus. And it's a high pressure environment. And I kind of went through that a little bit. I took AP classes. I was a giant nerd. But which means those kids are up at 1 o'clock in the morning studying sometimes. And don't get me wrong, that can be real life, and I'm not saying it's horrible, but I feel like my children were able to get a comparable, maybe not quite as good, but a comparable education without all the pressure. And that is something I really value. I really do believe their education, we taught them how to learn, we taught them how to reason, how to logic, how to contemplate, so they can teach themselves anything that they will want to learn as an adult, even if that means college classes. I'm not saying just, in their room like, the Unabomber, but I'm saying like going to class, that they have the ability. They have the ability to look at life through an analytical lens, which was important to my husband and I. That doesn't mean they're majoring in what we want them to major in. Some are, some aren't, some don't know yet. But they got a well-rounded, highly academic education without the burning out pressure that some kids get. And like I said, they're not leaving with their college, diplomas. They're not going to Harvard. We wouldn't necessarily want that anyways. But they're not, getting full ride scholarships to Stanford either. But that's not what they wanted. And so that's okay. But they got a very comprehensive education. They value learning. They value being involved members of society. They've been taught to get along with a variety of ages and can walk into any room and handle themselves well. And those things were important. And in many ways, those are things homeschool gave us personally. My children could volunteer in cross-age things, very like junior high. They're going and stuffing envelopes in a room that is full of retirees. So my children can handle themselves around that. And they're not leaving school kind of that reclusive high schooler who can't talk to anyone. They, handle themselves well in interviews. I get told this after my kids get jobs. Wow, we were so impressed with how they handled themselves, And so those are all good life things. The other part is mistakes have been made. I know. We started all our children knowing very young of we're doing the best we can. God's grace covers a multitude of sin, and we know we didn't do it perfect. We are not those parents who are like, we did the best we can, so you have to be grateful. No, we made mistakes, and we don't even know what all the mistakes are yet. We've made mistakes. We also are very honest of we were in bad situations or tough situations at times and go, we don't know how we could have handled it differently, but it didn't work out the way we wanted, So we're not coming at it like we're perfect parents, but we can say we tried. We can say we invested. I think it's worth it because you're not tied to someone else's public school schedule and what they think your kids should learn and how your kids should learn. And frankly, it cost us. I couldn't work full time. I couldn't even really work solidly part time, especially when the kids were young. And we paid for things, but it wasn't overly expensive. And those are sacrifices to us that have been so worth it. Not for everybody, but for us. I will never regret the fact that I've homeschooled my children. And regardless of how our relationships turn out, I never have to wonder. I never have to say, well, what if I had? I gave it my all, and it is so worth it. And frankly, the ride has been pretty fun too. And I can't wait to see how this yields as they get older. And but the one thing is there's no guarantee. And you have to be okay with that because they're only your children for a few moments. You get to choose what you do in those. But after that, they are released. They are free. They were never really yours to begin with. You just got them for a while. That's what I think. What do you think? I really want to hear. And are there any issues or any questions or anything like that that I can give you my perspective on? I'm not saying it's right, but I can give you my perspective on. Make sure to check out the other participants. Some have older children, some have younger children. It'll be really interesting to hear what everyone says. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.